appropriate for your minor children and for tax dollars to be spent on this stuff. And so it's, again, I used to be one of those moms. I would poo-poo the book ladies. That's what I would call them. And I was very judgmental. I was like, why aren't we doing more about comprehensive sex ed? And I still do anything regarding the sexualization of our kids. But during COVID, when I looked at how deep and wide this issue is in these books, I just had to stop and really focus on it, and we built a database. So parents, the biggest thing is parents don't believe it's in their school. Mm-hmm. Again, principal went to my Southern Baptist church. His daughter actually did worship there, and his librarian assigned something, and when it was, I still have the assignment of what they were telling these kids to read and do. And the school district ended up a year or two later promoting him. So the education establishment tends to be A-OK with these books.
Friends, again, the website, and we'll refer to this often because it is a wealth of resource on this issue, takebacktheclassroom.com. And you can go in there, put in your state and then your community. You'll find the listing of libraries, the schools that are right there, the listing of books that have been found there. And I'm sad to say it's probably just scratching the surface on this issue because they are coming out day after day after day. And Karen, one would just naturally think that anti-obscenity laws would not allow for this to take place. Is that true? Or doesn't such laws apply here?
Well, there's a couple of things. Oklahoma actually is one of the handful of states that do not give schools an exception for obscenity. And so I'll explain this obscenity law. So years ago, when obscenity was deemed harmful to minors, there were over 43 states that went and changed their laws to allow for educational purposes, and they specifically list public schools, public libraries, and universities as being exempt. So you can show obscene material to a minor in a classroom that you wouldn't be able to show a minor out on the street, and it would be considered obscene. And so that's kind of the starting. But even if they got rid of those obscenity laws, just like Oklahoma never had one of them. They were one of the 7 states that didn't do it. Obscenity is a really high bar to pass. This stuff is obscene, but legally, obscene is like hardcore of hardcore porn. So, sexually explicit is still all over our schools, and so they can get rid of the obscenity laws, and that's great, and they should. But you still have sexually explicit books. Like I said, Oklahoma is one of the worst states, and they're exempt. You know, they don't have an exemption for schools to be able to have obscenity, but they have sexually explicit books. And really, because this is a local issue and the librarian picks the books, the best way to handle it is at the local school district to get them removed. And that's how even in red states like where we are here and have a law against it, you have to do it at the local level. You have to get the school board to adhere to the law and get them removed.
Okay,
I mean, you'd be surprised how hard they fight to keep this stuff there.
Yeah, and let me introduce another aspect to this because you said, keep it local, but there are many who will defer, we follow the guidelines of the American Library Association, and one would think that they're naturally looking for the best interest of children. But your comments on the ALA?
Well, I'm a modest Christian woman, so I'll try and keep that in mind because I have no respect for the American Library Association. It is not what we thought it was. They are progressive activists. They actually have on their own website a Minor's Bill of Rights. They believe that everything written from Playboy to Dr. Seuss should be available for any child at any age at any time. And they actually say that in their minor Book of Rights, or Bill of Rights for minors. And they're the biggest culprits. They're the ones that are sending their monthly lists to these librarians to get them to pick this stuff from. They're the ones that promote almost all of these, or a lot of these, have some prize they won, and so, the teacher says, this won this prize, so the parent backs down, thinking, I must be the only one who thinks this is over the top. But you're not. Really, if you don't believe me, go to our website, and if your school isn't listed, just go to the top and click on book reports and look at some of the book reports of really good one to look at, and this is in schools everywhere, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Me and Earl
and the Dying Girl. And without getting graphic, what can you tell us about that book?
I don't know that I can.
Wow.
All of these books, I don't think this is going to violate any rules. I'm not talking about one time talking about nocturnal emissions. I'm saying that gracefully for young kids in the car. However, it's how to, what happens when. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Very
These
graphic.
books are full of descriptive acts, many of which these books have been turned into movies, and the movies were rated R because they had to take stuff out of the book.
Friends, you're listening to Crosstalk on VCY America. Karen England is with us today, president of the Capital Resource Institute, but also founder of Take Back the Classroom. Their website is takebacktheclassroom.com. And friends, I encourage you to check out your local library, your school libraries, and to look at that website and see what is listed there. And we're going to mention just some other titles. We're not going to go through and give descriptions of the books, but the titles that you need to be watching for in your school as well. Back in a minute here on Crosstalk.
Back to Genesis with Dr. John Morris, geologist and president of the Institute for Creation Research. Dr. Morris, in total, how many animal species have been found in the fossil record?
You know, Chris, the answer to this question surprised me. Evolutionists are fond of talking about millions and millions of fossil animal types, but in reality, only about 250,000 fossil species have ever been found. That's far fewer than the number of species that are still existing today. And it certainly is not many compared to the millions and billions of animals which must have existed if evolution were true. What we find in the fossil record are clams and snails and coral, the very same kind of animals that are alive today. Face it, Chris, evolution didn't happen. It's not happening today, and it didn't happen in the past, as recorded in the fossils. What happened is creation, just like it says back in Genesis.
Thanks, Dr. Morris. For more info on Genesis, visit us on the web at www.icr.org.
This is Crosstalk on VCY America with a warning today. Pornographic books have invaded classrooms across this country. And as young people prepare to go back to the classrooms in the weeks and months to come, we want to give this warning to you and certainly to know in advance what is there, what is sitting on the shelf, what is lurking there. And Karen, one of the things that you have done is use the word grooming, that these books are actually used to groom children. Address that issue, if you would.
Yeah, we're doing it for them, because when you are grooming, whether it's a person or an institution like our schools, you are desensitizing and breaking down the natural boundaries that a child has regarding sex, sexuality, how they see their body, what they talk about. And so when you're starting in kindergarten with a book like The Big Bath House that has a lot of pictures of naked adults and children in big pools, what does that say to a 5-year-old? The left will say, well, this book is about Asian culture and grandmas, mothers, and daughters all bathed together. But you can't tell that that's what that is. And an American at the age of 5 isn't really into Asian culture. So when they're just looking through that book, what they're seeing is a lot of naked adults and kids. You just told them, oh, this is okay. Hey, this is okay. This is at my school. And so then it goes all the way up. I mean, there are some books, Boy Toy, where he's having an affair with his teacher, and it's very, very graphic. And after they do this big graphic actions, she gives him a wink and says, "Oh, the answers to the test tomorrow are in my purse."
Wow!
I mean, toy. It's in a lot of schools.
Yeah.
So
this got to impact the brain development of children too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And one of the other common themes, or several common themes throughout this, is very anti-Semitic, very anti-religion of any kind, and very anti-father figure. And so there's all of that are woven into it as well. And so it really is just setting kids against their parents, exposing them to incredibly graphic sexually stuff. And it just, again, I used to think, so what? Who are those crazy ladies? Well, now I'm one of them because it is so widespread, and it's been going on for a lot longer than we thought.
There was an article that came out recently from Real Clear Politics, and just before the break there, we were talking about the American Library Association, and I understand they just had their annual convention. I think it was in June in Chicago, and this is where thousands of librarians come, teachers come, activists come, and they hold this strategy session. And I understand that even at this conference, that they would discuss various things, but one of the things that they discussed was the so-called book bans. And Joe Biden, Rachel Maddow joined as featured speakers there. I can't think that anything good came out of this.
Oh, no, they actually have a hotline for schools to call if someone is challenging the books. And so the ALA and their Freedom Project and every library, they've got a couple of offshoots that are very active, organizing at the local level to make sure these books stay on the shelves. And they're the ones that are at the school board, pressuring the school board not to do anything. I honestly, you look at these books, like in my own school district, what on earth, what would any reason be that any school board member has allowed this to go on?
Yeah.
I mean, the books are that bad.
And yet when parents speak out against this, I mean, sometimes they've read from these books before school board meetings and their mics are cut off. They'll be cut off and say, your time is done. They have been called book burners. You are a bigot. You are a fascist. I mean, the titles that are given against them are just endless, and they seek to intimidate those who stand up and against this.
Oh, absolutely. I show up and they have signs about me being a Nazi, to which I like to go ask them, what do you mean? Or they're wearing a read banned book. So I'll ask them, where do I get one of those banned books? Because these books are all available.
Yeah. I
want book boundaries for minors. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want book boundaries for minors. And it is, I often find there's a lot of people that are probably not even as close to conservative as I am, that have a problem with many of these books, and they just haven't read them or seen them, which is why on our website you can print a book report that have all the excerpts and have the page numbers so that you can, show people what's
mm-hmm.
really in them. And that's why kind of, we're going to do this Book of the Month Club where people that we're going to give an entire toolkit and package on 3 different books and specialized training and all of that if you want to go challenge a book, and everyone's going to do the same book all across the country. And so we're hoping that will empower parents to get together to get this done, because we've got to start challenging these and getting them out. I had a young staffer. She's had a couple of babies, so she's not on staff anymore here in Tennessee. And she was about 26, and she said, and there's a book called Push that's been in the schools, and she said, oh, that was the book everyone knew to check out. So everyone was always checking it out because it was so graphic.
Wow.
It was the book, yeah.
And sometimes by graphic, there are actual photos and illustrations. Another time, it's the narrative, the words that are laid out with very graphic descriptions.
So, yes. Yes,
yeah.
And I would encourage this is hard to see, but go to the book reports and look up, I'm drawing a blank, but I'll get it for you.
Okay. Let me give the website, takebacktheclassroom.com. And friends, again, go into that site. You can see, you put in your own library and your school district there, and you'll see what books have been found there. And Karen, we want to point out, too, if somebody says, well, I don't find my library there, that doesn't mean it's exempt, does it?
Oh, not at all. As a matter of fact, it might say not searched yet, and that means we have access to it. We just, haven't gotten to it because, again, we're doing the whole United States. If it lists 0, it probably has been checked, but then there are some, Chicago's one of them, there are some school districts that don't give you access to the school library online unless you're a student and have a student ID to get in. So you can't go look what's in those school districts. So in that case, we help citizens file public records requests to get a list of the books in the library. You've
indicated through your research and so forth, and you said, and that's captivated my mind, you said the school library used to be a sanctuary, but now it's a battlefield. And that is so true when we talk about these books. And I thought, though, how is a parent to know? Because, frankly, Karen, some of the titles, a parent will look at a title and have no clue that there's pornography or homosexuality or transgenderism or something else in that book. How is a parent to know?
Yes, and that's why we did the site, and we're actually expanding. We only have 2 kind of tags on books. In a couple of weeks, we'll have 4, so you'll kind of know what to look for. But a perfect example of what you were just talking about, there's a book called The Art of Racing in the Rain, and it also was made into a movie. And this is in elementary schools, some middle schools, and the cover is so cute with a golden retriever on it, or it might be a Labrador. And The Art of Racing in the Rain. I mean, I would see that and just be excited. My kid was reading a book, a chapter book. But it's the dog watching the parents engage in activity.
Oh, my.
And so, I mean, there's several scenes of that. And it's like, parents would think, and when you read it, they talk about it like it's some really good book. And you've got scenes, and you can read them on our website, where it's the dog watching his owners do it.
Friends, some of these books will go describe rape and references just numerous things, incestual relationships and pornographic type things. The whole aspect of homosexuality is prevalent through so many of these books, and frankly, Karen, there are so many that are fed up with this. Some want to know, how can I get engaged in the battle? It seems everybody who tries to take a stand on this is shot down. But you've got a planned method for people to actually get engaged in and fight this battle.
Oh, absolutely. We our website, and we are revamping it. I was working on it as we speak. We have a toolkit. We have model policies. Again, this will all be updated in the next 2 weeks, slowly but surely. And again, we're doing, we'll have the letter written to do the challenges. Let me give you an example of what happens. So parents will, find out what the policy is to challenge a book. The school district usually has a policy that is from the ALA, and they have this sheet that you have to fill out, and the sheet usually is set up for failure for the parents. So it would say things like, well, is this good for any age? And the biggest one is they say, have you read the whole book? Well, you don't need to read the whole book, and if it's pornographic, I'm not going to. So we encourage people just to put see attach our model letter, and attach the excerpts. And as opposed to going through the hoops that they want you to go through that are never going to get the book removed. So there's a lot that we offer from our website and this new program that we're doing, One Book, 1 Month, One Nation, and that we will be doing Zoom calls with the 10 people across the nation that are challenging that one book, and everybody can chat with each other and strategize, and we will have really specific materials for them to hand to the school board members, to hand out to their Bible studies. So we're creating a whole toolkit specific to that one book And again, hoping people across the nation are going to challenge that book and that you're not in this alone, but other people are doing the same thing.
Friends, again, the website is takebacktheclassroom.com, takebacktheclassroom.com. Now, you may be a grandma or a grandpa, or you say, well, we don't have children, or our kids are all grown up and out. But, friends, what about the kids next door and those that live in your neighborhood and those that live in your community that are being impacted by these materials? And that's why it's important to be informed and then engaged in this battle. Takebacktheclassroom.com. We'll be interviewing our guest here, but friends, we also want to open our phone line to take your specific questions for our guest here today. Our number to Crosstalk is 1-800-733-9829. 1-800-733-9829. If you have a specific question you'd like to ask our guest on this issue today, give us a call here, 800-733-9829. So many of the themes of these books will have, ideals that support LGBTQ++. Sexual immorality that is graphically portrayed, but it shows it as being normal. It shows it as being good. Certain degrading sex acts. There's the promiscuous clothing that is in the illustrations. Even bad relationships between child and parents and children will read, yeah, that's my home, and lead them into graphic sexual content here as well. So, and not to mention the things that are going on with witchcraft and spells and demonic activity as well. So a lot is there. Friends, our number to Crosstalk, 800-733-9829. A warning today on Crosstalk. We'll be right back.
If you're the wife of someone who is in ministry, you have the most exciting, challenging, frustrating, fulfilling, joyful, terrifying, blessed, stressful, rewarding, and amazing job in the world. And some days, it's all of those things at once. On such days, you need a friend who knows and understands how you feel. Claudia Barba is such a person. In her book, The Monday Morning Club, Claudia draws from her own experiences as she writes with love and gentle humor about the joys and absurdities of ministry life. As you read her book, you will learn that you are not alone. She has been right alongside her husband, Dave Barba, planning churches and itinerant evangelism ministry. The Monday Morning Club, available for a donation of $15 by calling VCY, 1-800-729-9829.
This is Crosstalk on VCY America. Karen England with us today on the program, president of the Capital Resource Institute, founder of Take Back the Classroom. The website, takebacktheclassroom.com. Our lines are packed. We'll get to the calls here in just a moment. But, Karen, again, there are some people say, I don't know whether we have these books or not. We want them to go to your website and find out and check their library. But just give us the titles of just several books here that you're finding over and over and over in classroom libraries across the country.
Okay, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, Lucky, Push, The Bluest Eye, anything by Colleen Hoover or Sarah J. Moss, which is The Court of Mist and Fury, The Art of Racing in the Rain is another one. Genderqueer is one. The Haters is all over. A very popular one across the nation is The Freedom Writer's Diary. That we're finding everywhere. Millennial Boys. This is an interesting book title. It's Perfectly Normal. The Sympathizer, Trans Plus, One Last Stop, A Court of Frost and Starlight. Oh, All Boys Aren't Blue. The King and the King, for kindergartners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just, friends, there's so many titles, and these are in libraries just all across the country, in your school libraries. And one other point here, and then we'll go to the lines, and that is when people look at movie content or check their television, they have ratings. Books don't have ratings, do they?
No, they don't. And there's a couple of groups that I would be for ratings if they followed the PGG kind of stuff, as opposed to so anything on our website meets a threshold of being too sexually explicit for minors.
Wow.
And we take into consideration, like that book, The Big Bathhouse. Some people might rate that a 1, but it's in elementary school, so for us, that's a 5.
Yeah. Let's go to Maxine calling from Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. You're on the air, Maxine.
Yes, I totally agree with your speaker, and we were asked to read some of these books and what we felt, and I only read to page 24. It was actually physically sickening. My copy of Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, on page 1, they were swearing, and it goes on about teachers having affairs with the teen jocks. It's unreal. You cannot believe the bathroom humor.
And who asked you to read this? Who asked you to read this, Maxine? What initiated it?
One of the school board members in our town asked some of us church members if we would read these books and give our input.
Wow.
And like I said, I got to page 24. It was sickening. And this was written to high school youth. It was supposedly written by a fat Jewish boy. I cannot even begin to use. And then another book I read that was in our public library, and let me get the title here. I believe this is the title, Rapture Practice. And then it was it was in the religious section. It was in a bright yellow and lime or teal green cover, very attractive. The subtitle, My Own Way Ticket to Salvation. Hey, sounds good. I started reading it. It was written by a practicing homosexual, and it was a put down on Christian schools, on churches, on parents, and it was labeled young adult.
Maxine, thank you for the call. Yeah, I'm going to have our guest comment here, and we've got many lined up behind you as well. Go ahead, Karen. I mean, she...
Yeah, well, Maxine needs to sign up for our Book of the Month Club and join others across the nation that are going to challenge these books at the school district. So she mentioned Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Well, that is one that is often assigned in ninth grade English, and it was turned into a major motion picture. So when they go, oh, the movie wasn't that bad, it's because they took out the bad stuff from the book in order to make it reasonable as a movie.
Wow. So, and they can sign up to be part of that at takebacktheclassroom.com?
Yes, just go sign up on our email list, and we are literally just unleashing it. Did the first email yesterday. We're going to have a video call on Wednesday, but it'll be going on for, all year. But if you want to get in and figure out how to start doing this, let us know, because we're going to equip you with everything you need, including my personal cell phone number, to get help for the people that are part of our Book of the Month Club.
Wow. Maxine, thank you for the call. Let's go to Tom in Orr, Minnesota. Tom, you're on the air.
Hey, we had this issue in our school just this year. We had a new librarian who was a female, but then about 2 weeks into the school year, she started to refer to herself as a male. About a month into the school year, my daughter took pictures of some of the books she was displaying from Genderqueer and All Boys Aren't Blue, and my daughter sent them to me and to our principal. And I sent them to some friends on Facebook who put it out on Facebook, and the phone lines from the school got lit up. The principal went in, took out all the books that the librarian had ordered that year, and that was the last day that librarian came to work. They removed her from her position.
Wow.
And all the books were removed. It was an awesome thing, and that happened in Cook, Minnesota at the public school.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's awesome, and it shows that exposing it and getting people activated, this stuff is inexcusable. I would still encourage you to go to our website and check your local school to see things that were in there that might, like Genderqueer, All Boys Aren't Blue, are very common books that we know about and have seen and been all over TV. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot that are still hidden in there. So I would encourage you to, especially if you've got a willing principal, to protect the kids.
Thank you.
There are, and if people have a voice and use it, things can get done, especially as you get further and further away from the cities and get in the more rural areas.
Yeah.
this stuff can happen, and you can get rid of the junk that's in there.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. And friends, he called from Orem, Minnesota. Their population is just a few hundred. And he mentioned the Cook, Minnesota Library. Population in Cook, I just called it up, 534 people, 2020 census. So, Karen, this just shows how prolific this is throughout the entire nation, from small, tiny school districts to the large districts.
Wow. Yes, it is.
Wow. Friends, our number to Crosstalk, 800-733-9829. Next is Larry in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. You're on the air, Larry.
Hi, thank you for your program. And I have a concern about New York City. Obviously, if it's happening in small towns, I have a granddaughter up there, and I haven't really gotten, I know she's going to be put in the first grade of the public schools. Do things like these kind of books occur in first grade for children?
Yes, they do. And you can go, we just finished New York. I'm not sure if all of New York City is in that, but they are. The Big Bathhouse is in elementary schools. The Art of Racing in the Rain is in elementary schools. Again, the Big Bathhouse is a picture book. It's perfectly normal. It's very graphic and is in elementary schools and elementary school classrooms, because a lot of times they stay in their classroom. So they have libraries in their a library classroom. So, yes. There's, again, our local school district in an elementary school had Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Wow. Larry, go to the website, even if you can, and even call up to New York, and you can look for yourself. Manhattan, you mentioned, and do that. That's takebacktheclassroom.com. But, yes, you asked about first graders. Yes, they're subject to this in their library as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Thanks
call.
very much.
We've got Kim next in Arizona. Hi, Kim, you're on the air.
I just had a question about would a vice principal be helpful?
Would a vice principal be helpful? Finish your question there.
They absolutely could be, because I mean, if they're getting the complaint, and they can then take it to the principal or to the school board. So absolutely, anyone in authority would be helpful.
Great. You're so kind.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for the call. Our number to Crosstalk, 800-733-9829. We've got a couple open lines. Jerry is calling from Cambridge. Jerry, you're on the air.
Actually, it's Terry, but that's fine.
Okay.
I've been called everything else.
Sorry about that.
My comment is, living near Madison, Wisconsin, and I also found out that the problem is that stuff is really overflowing in our area faster and faster and faster. Matter of fact, I've been actually told to quit talking against the LGBTQ and actually writing against it and things like that. And I don't care. They can threaten all they want, and it doesn't bother me. I'm an old Marine. I know how to fight back.
Well, yeah.
And my comment is we need to put prayer to action very fast.
Yeah, indeed. And thank you for the call here. And that's another aspect to this as well, Karen. This is not a battle of flesh and blood, really. It's a spiritual battle that's going on. And he brought up the comment about needing to be praying about this as well. Certainly that needs to be a part of the arsenal here, does it not?
Oh, absolutely. And praying for those that are going before the school board.
Yes.
This is a very dark issue. But, yes, praying for absolutely, it all starts with prayer. But we can't just leave it there, because this does require action to get it removed. And your one caller mentioned, hey, I just did these few things, and the books were gone, and so is the librarian. So, again, I don't want anyone to think that's how it goes everywhere, because it's a little more work. But we're here to walk through it with you, because this is how it's going to be done, one book at a time, 1 month at a time, to get them out of all of our schools.
Friends, we're taking your questions today for Karen England, and she is the founder of Take Back the Classroom and also president of the Capital Resource Institute. Our number to Crosstalk is 800-733-9829, 800-733-9829. Paul is calling from Cameron, Wisconsin. Paul, you're on the air.
Yes, I do want to mention, yes, the book that ma'am is doing this show. I don't remember her name already when you already had said this recently, commented on it, but Yeah, I do have a former, couldn't call her a niece, but she's become a transsexual, and she's converted her name from Abigail to Spencer. So, and thinking what it is that she was of the age of majority when she had done that, but certainly I think it was much of the influence of many of the teachers within her school district.
Yeah.
It's only quite a very small school district. There's only about a full, probably 2,000 people in the whole school district. So
wow.
Quite a small one at that, too. So.
Thank you, Paul, for raising that issue. And Karen, that's, he brought up that aspect of, even the grooming aspect. And these books are there, and they percolate in the minds of young people. And many believe that, maybe I'm not really a boy, I'm not a biological boy. Maybe I'm to be a girl, or vice versa. And as a result of that, it is causing gender confusion, and many are acting upon the things that they have read upon.
No, absolutely. And these books are all about how you're going through puberty, which who isn't a little confused about everything in life when you're going through puberty as a teen or a preteen? And then the teacher and society, TV culture, starts to tell them maybe you were born in the wrong body, or maybe that means you like people of the same sex. And then they start handing out these books that are, tell a story of someone, and then, they were happy once they realized their real gender. And there's so many books on that. And again, they're very graphic about it. There's one called Trans Plus, and at the end of every chapter, it tells you where to go without parents to know, to get chest binders.
Friends, so it's subverting parental authority in the home and causing young people to be clandestine, even as they seek out to do the very things that these books are talking about. Karen England with us, takebacktheclassroom.com. We'll have one more segment, and let's see, I've got a couple of lines, 800-733-9829.
For the Worldview Report, I'm Brandon House. Our website's worldviewtube.com. There's an article at I-24 News. Are you ready for it? 1 finger prick, 30 seconds, 0 lab results inside the world's fastest portable blood test. Folks, I recently had some blood taken. It had to be overnighted to be analyzed. Now we wait for the results. Guess what? There's a company that has just developed the ability to get lab results in a matter of 30 seconds with 1 finger prick, and it's already saving lives, and it can be used in a home hospital situation, in a hospital, or on the battlefield. And guess who developed it, folks? Are you ready? Israeli technology. It's coming out of Israel. And this is exactly what Genesis chapter 12 speaks about. This nation being a blessing to the whole world. Where are the BDS, the boycott, divestment, sanction crowd now? Israeli technology, saving lives again.
This is Crosstalk on VCY America. Today's program, a warning, because pornographic books have invaded classrooms all across this nation. And as kids enter through school doors, friends, they're going to be confronted with this. Our guest today is taking a stand and informing you as to what is taking place, and also guiding you how you can take a stand locally in this matter. The website, takebacktheclassroom.com, takebacktheclassroom.com, and you can obtain more information there, even learn about your own libraries there. But let's go back to the phone lines. Our number is 1-800-733-9829. We have Eddie calling from Glasgow, Kentucky. Eddie, you're on the air.
Thank you for taking my call, Jim. I thank you for the program. I'm alarmed at the subject matter, and I thought they were our schools. I thought they were our children. How is it someone can do? I feel violated. I mean, I really do. Of course, all my kids are grown, but I got grandkids.
Yeah.
But this has no place whatsoever in our schools. I mean, the train's off the tracks. I don't understand how this can happen. I don't understand why this is not news. But I thank you so much for bringing it to my attention, because I am going to get on it in prayer and in preaching, and I'm going to tell people what's going on. I thank you for that young lady you got with you there. and I think she's doing a great job. God bless both of you.
Great. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate your call.
Let me say, our home office is in California, but I live in Clarksville, Tennessee, right by Fort Campbell. So I am happy to come up to Kentucky and attend a school board meeting or help with a small group of parents, explain the issues. So use us as a resource.
Great. Thank you, Eddie.
Yes, I would love to do that. I just don't know how. I'm 72 years old, and I didn't even really pay attention when I was in school, dumber than a box of rocks. But I would love to go to a school meeting. Yeah. I would love to be, I guess, a voice of opposition. I mean, I'm not that dumb, but I would love to have the opportunity to be in a school board meeting.
Yeah.
I would love to be on the school board.
Go to our website, sign up for our emails, and I will tell you, God has such a sense of humor. I write laws and write legislation now. I got a D- in government. So you can certainly go before the school board.
Thank you, Eddie. Let's go to another caller from Kentucky. This is Brian in Frankfort, Kentucky. Brian, you're on the air.
Yes. I've recently walked in my local library and just was appalled by so many books that were there. One in particular was There's a Karen in Every Town, and it's about this woman who just complains over the most petty things, and it just highly offended me.
Yeah, and there's a variety, and that's in the public school or in the regular public library, but we're talking certainly about the invasion that's also happening in the school libraries as well. There are many different themes and topics, as we mentioned, some dealing with Satanism, the occult, and vampirism, and all those kind of things that are luring young people as well. Our main focus has been more on the sexual-related content and the grooming that is happening of children. But you pointed out another issue there, Brian, so thank you for raising that issue and just so much that is taking place under the guise of education or having First Amendment rights for reading materials. Let's pick up Steve in Felton, Pennsylvania. Steve, you're on the air.
Hi there. I'm a school board member in York County, and anyway, I was just wondering, I'm looking at Karen's website right now, Take Back the Classroom, and I'm looking under book reports.
Yeah.
And I see, of course, the separate book reports for the various types of books that are mentioned by Karen. Well, anyway, is there a way to get a master list of all the different books that, Karen, you have discovered are inappropriate for children?
Oh.
Our website would be the way to do it, and I know some of the books don't have book reports, but every week we're uploading about 30 new book reports. But just use our website. It's got them all. And a list wouldn't, I have to tell you, I was just on a call with our staff 2 days ago because so many new books have come up, over 200 books in the last couple of weeks of summer that are new titles for us to go and search.
Wow.
And, we just added 600 about 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, the list is very fluid, but keep track of our website. And again, we update it every week with new books and with new book reports.
All right, Karen, thank you so much.
Well, and our website has it's called a FOIA, which is a public records request. Our website has where you can fill out the public records request in Kentucky and get a list of the schools of the books from your local school. You can file an open records request.
And Karen, he's in Pennsylvania. He is a school board member. What advice do you have for school board members like Steve that are listening across the nation today?
Well, we have a model policy that has been passed in 2 California schools, so that's good. We have a model policy school districts can use, and I'm happy to work with him on his specific, school district. We've got a lot of people. I was up in Lancaster last year, speaking at a group of people that were getting rid of the books. And so there's a lot you can do, but I would first check out what your reconsideration policy is. That's the policy regarding materials in libraries. And get in touch with me, and we can, maybe craft a policy that's more parent-friendly. But if the librarian won't give you a list of the books, then you can do a FOIA and get a list of the books.
Yeah. We're down in our last minute. Thank you, Steve. And reach out to Karen through the website as well, takebacktheclassroom.com. But they do have a model policy on there that you can download and take it for even passage on a school board level as well. Appreciate the call. We're out of time. And Karen, we'll give you the last 30 seconds. What would you like to leave with our listeners?
Well, just that courage is contagious, and that the Calvary is not coming. We are the Calvary. These public schools belong to the public. And now that you know it's pornographic material in them, if you do nothing, you're complicit. So I want to encourage you to pray and pray about how God would use you to be active. That one dad that was on there, he just talked about putting it all over Facebook with a phone number to call. So it's not, you don't have to become me and become a full-time activist, but you can do something, and you should do something.
Karen, thank you for the time that you've invested in this issue and really sounding the warning today as a watchman on the wall and alerting us to the danger that's out there. And thank you for your efforts in doing so. Karen England, our guest here today. And friends, again, the website, takebacktheclassroom.com. God bless you, friends. Thanks for joining us today on Crosstalk.
You've been listening to Crosstalk via satellite and the internet from VCY America. Views expressed may or may not be those of this station. For a CD of today's program, send a donation of $6 or more to VCY Take Ministry, 3434 West Kilbourne Avenue, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53208, or download by RSS or podcast from crosstalkamerica.com. And join us again for Crosstalk.